Good day, everybody, and welcome to another session of Education for a Better World. I am Abdillah Javardi, your host. I am the CEO of Pro Education Group. We are a consulting firm in education that serves both higher education and K through 12. We started this podcast, Education for a Better World, for the purpose of bringing top educators from around the world to share their insight about how to be a great educator, how to run a great institutions, and how we can share their knowledge with one another and try to make it better through education and training. And I have a very special guest, Ms. Revina Miller, is my guest today. She is a wonderful educator. She's a director of institution in the US, and she has many years of experience. And I'm delighted to have her here so she can share with everybody about her insight in education. So welcome, Ms. Revina.
Thank you so much. It's good to be here. I feel honored.
It is my pleasure to have you. Thank you for joining us. So, Revina, if you don't mind, why don't you share with our audience your journey to this point? Where were you born and how did you get to this point?
Got it. Okay. I was actually born in Lakewood, California. And so I was born and raised there for many, many years. I started actually in retail. I worked for Nordstrom for many, many years. Then I went to work in the banking industry. I was one of the youngest vice presidents at a branch in, it was Orange County, California. And I loved it. It was fun. It was great being in the banking industry. And then purely by accident, I fell into this business and I felt like I found the mother lode. I'm like, wow, education, and you get to help people and you get to run a business. This is awesome. And so I really feel fortunate that I found what I truly love to do, something that's as easy as breathing and something that I'm super passionate about. And at the same time, something that I put my heart and soul into because of the fact I love our students so much. And I know what their journey is and where they're going to end up. So that's how I got here, completely by accident. I walked into a school to find out about maybe starting a pharmacy tech because I thought the banks were going through deregulation at the time. Yes, it was that long ago. And I thought maybe I need a change. And so I was just kind of exploring, and I happened to walk into a school in California called California Paramedical and Technical College. It was owned by Julia Morale. And when I walked in, I was talking to the receptionist and I was telling her, I go, yeah, I was just wanted to come in and explore and see what you guys had to offer. And she happened to be the campus director. She goes, I have an idea. Can you come back? Let's talk. And that person was Tish Schumacher. And I adore and thank her every day that she's seen something in me and thought, this might be something for this person. So I started as an admissions representative, worked many years in admissions, became a director of admissions, became a regional and a national director of admissions. And then I became a campus director for Corinthian at the time. And I worked for Corinthian from, 2007 until they actually closed. So many, many years. So I became a campus director. Actually, they called us campus presidents. Then I became an RVPO with them. And then I moved from California to Texas for them. And then I took over Texas and had Nevada. Then I had Ohio. Then I had Florida, so many different areas. But just super thankful that I finally now have landed here. I'm actually in the Gulf of Mexico, in that area, in the Louisiana, Mississippi area. And I now work for a school group called Blue Cliff College that was recently owned by Education America, but now it's owned by a new company that just purchased us, and that's ATA. And I'm super excited about this new company. I like their drive. I like their passion. I like their vision of where we're going to go. So there's a lot of wonderful things coming. So in a nutshell, that's who I am, where I came from, and how I fell into this business. 30 plus years
Wonderful,
later.
wonderful, wonderful.
Mhm.
So, one of the issues that sometimes people they hear, and from a lot of successful people like yourself, is all the highlights of positive highlights of what has happened to them. But in reality, life is mixture of things. It's challenges that happen on the way, and then where we end up is what we do about those challenges.
Yes.
How we don't give up, and we just kind of, sense, get up and do it again, or do something differently. Or
Yes.
maybe we have people that come on in our life that will see things in us that sometimes we don't see in ourselves.
Hmm.
Maybe you can talk about some of those experiences with us as well.
Got it. Yes, for sure. In fact, I think that if you were to talk to a few of my past boss, they would probably describe me as tenacious and passionate about what I do, and passionate about just life. I feel very blessed and thankful. I feel like life is magical, and it gives us the goods and the bads and the uglies. And, a lot of my students ask me, "Oh, you've had this great life." I'm like, "Sit down, let's talk." I think we've all had challenges in our life. And I can think back, when I look at who I am and what shaped me to who I am now, is I had a child at 14. And giving birth at 14, well, I mean, it was definitely a surprise and a shock. And a lot of people don't know that about me. It's not like I'm going to walk around and say, "Oh, I had a kid at 14." But I look back and I think, who and how and what did shape you, Revina? And besides having two amazing parents, giving birth at such a young age, I grew up very quickly. And I told myself, I'm going to be something, and I'm going to be somebody, and I'm going to show this world what I'm about. And so I took that, being a mom at such a young age, and I said, "You need to get moving." So I actually went back to high school, and I finished high school in 2 years, graduated with straight A's. I was valedictorian. And then I went on, but this was way back when, long time ago. And so with that being said, there wasn't a lot of online schools. So it took me a while to get my degree. And it took me a while, but I still, like I said, I'm tenacious. I didn't give up. And so I did a little bit here and a little bit there. It was starting out kind of a non-traditional. I went to some junior colleges. I went because I had to work at the same time. But I finally finished. And when I finished, then I knew, I'm like, okay, I'm going to be even better. But in life, I think it has a lot more to do with your attitude, right? And what you're capable of doing. And so you can get through life, but you just don't want to give up. So with the fact of having a child at a young age, that shaped and defined who I was. And unfortunately, my son passed away unexpectedly when he was 23, passed away from a ruptured cerebral aneurysm. And that shaped me even more to be who I am today. And, my friends think I'm tenacious. They think I'm this powerful person and strong person. And I just think I'm just Revina. But I do believe that both those events in my life shaped who I am, and they keep me going, they keep me driving. And, I have Almighty God to be thankful for that too. And I have a really strong faith that has really been good to me, and that it's helped me be successful in my life. And I feel very fortunate that my hard work has paid off. And I'm humbly thankful for that.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing with us. And first, accept my condolences, because that's very difficult to use to lose a son at such an early age.
Yeah.
That says so much about you and your attitude about how to move life forward. To not just forget, but to live a positive way, not only yourself, but for your son, his legacy. And I congratulate you for that.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate
Now, maybe the question that should be asked is about professional mindset. Professional mindset is something, when I talk to people, everybody has a different definition for, right?
Yes.
So my first question is, What's your definition of professional mindset, and how has that helped you throughout your life?
Got it. Okay. Well, when I think back when I was younger, it was probably different. It was just to be a manager, right? I didn't necessarily understand the difference between a manager and a leader. And through the years, I've really learned how to be more of a leader and more of a servant leader. So I look at, that professional mindset. It has to be somebody that's tenacious, somebody that's a problem solver. You have all the normal things you need in a leadership role, but somebody that also can motivate others to think outside of the box and to come up with solutions. And I've learned now through these years, I've become a much better leader. I've made a lot of mistakes on the road or the journey to there. But the great thing is I learned from those mistakes, and I took those mistakes and I turned them into something more positive with the fact that I'm like, what can I do better next time? But that professional mindset is somebody that, it's funny, I look back to when I was a kid, I used to think I was the CEO when I was a young kid. So I feel like it's always been there. It's like, I'm going to do this. My sisters would be playing with dolls and I'm like, I'm running the bank, come make deposits here. Right. But it really has to be somebody, and especially in today's time, you have to be that leader, that professional mindset to be able to navigate through all the changes that are happening. So you have that process part, and then you have the other part, which is the personal part or the people part, the humanistic part. So you need to be able to get to know your team and respect them and be there as a support. And I think the biggest thing is you have to roll your sleeves up and get in there with them when the going gets tough. Does that make sense?
Absolutely, absolutely. I think those are great advice, and I think things that actually make life fun, right?
Yes.
Because
Yes, I agree.
the best way to demonstrate to people how something is done, just actually get into the process and show them, and enjoy the process with them. And I think that then not only shows people how something is done, but they feel more empowered by somebody making it, that is not me telling you what to do, but it's showing you how to do it.
Yes.
So no, absolutely.
Yeah.
Let me ask you about mentorship, and what do you think about mentorship and mentoring? How important is it? And what are some of the things that a school can do, institutions can do to encourage mentorship for their staff and their students? Please.
I think mentorship is the future, and you can start as early as elementary school with people all the way until, oh gosh, even into their 90s. It's like if a person is asking for help or direction, I always want to try to be there for them, right? And at the same time, I have mentors that I go to, and I look back and I think what they've done for me in the past, and it's just been amazing. And they've been so supportive and they've helped me. I've had some amazing mentors. And most of them ended up being my boss in one way or another eventually. Right now, myself personally, I am an ambassador for Donate Life. And so what Donate Life is where you go out and you can speak to people about your story and tell them your testimony on, like for losing my son. And I talked to them about signing up to donate their organs. And I talked to them while they're alive so that they can tell their families, so that when that time comes, their family doesn't feel like, oh, I have to make this horrible, tough decision. I think that's important. I try my hardest to be there for parents, and I've mentored many, many parents with that have lost their children through the years. And then I've also, I look right now, just for example, the team that I have right now at my campus, the leadership team that I have, I look at them and I feel like, I'm their mentor, And every single day I come to work because of the fact that I'm coaching and training them on a day-to-day basis and leading them and trying to be supportive with them. And at the same time, that I'm asking them to then also coach and lead and mentor their teams. So I think it's important that you're doing it here at your campus or your primary work site. And it trickles down. It's interesting. I watch and I see some of the things I do with them, how they then go and do it with their teams. So I love seeing that play back. But I think it's also important that you're getting out there in the community. The world has changed so much in the last couple of years. So many people are going through so much, and it's important that we're getting out there. One, I look at my programs that I teach. For example, we teach cosmetology, esthetician, massage therapy. So I have them go out into some of our senior areas and give free haircuts, and they give massages to our elderly, and they give manicures and pedicures, and they love that because they can't get out necessarily, or they can't come to a salon. Then I also offer a CMA and HIMBC, and we also offer dialysis tech. And so our students, we try to do that and promote for them to do it. My program chairs is what I'm like, what are you doing this month to get out there in the community? What are we offering out there in the community? We also, at the campus, will offer free classes. Like we have a yoga class that we offer for the community. So anybody that wants to come in and take a free yoga class, anybody that wants to come in and learn how to do study techniques, or anybody that might need some help on a computer writing a resume. So whatever we can do, we get out there and we try to let the community to know that we're doing this and that we're available for them. So you can start small, right? And then you can get bigger and bigger. And a lot of times it's some of the ideas that come to me are just from having a conversation with the student in the hallway. They're like, oh, this is my situation. Or, hey, look, I just found out my friend here, they need some help here. And then it's like, next minute, I know we've got a full strike team getting ready to go help. So I think when you're definitely trying to get out there and do mentoring and also helping and supporting the community, it's needed right now more so than ever. But it's got to be a part of our corporate mindset. It has to be getting out there and helping in ways. I mean, every week here, we're trying to do something to keep our students excited and enthusiastic about being here. But then I look at it and I think, when we get out there and do those community events, and when we get out there and we mentor, we do a reading program for our local junior college or elementary school, then that's teaching our current students how to act and behave when they get out there in the workforce. So then maybe they're planting the seed with their supervisor. So then it's just something else that keeps paying forward and playing forward and playing forward. So we're definitely, it's building those foundations.
Wonderful. Now, some of the programs that you mentioned, obviously, they do come with internship or externship.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So maybe for a school that don't offer internship and externship, you can share, what do you think the value of the internship is? How do you set up internship? Because a lot of time I have people that come to us and they want to set internship, right? And
Yes.
having the right internship and having a formal and a scheduled or process that drive that internship is very important in order to have a successful outcome. Maybe you can give us some insight about the value of internship, and then how do you set up an effective internship, if you don't.
Got it. Oh, all those are really good questions. And it's funny because it's kind of one of my little favorite things of our program that we offer, because I see it so valuable, right? It's so valuable for the student, it's so valuable for the employer. And we actually start by talking about it in admissions. It has to start in admissions. It has to really, we have to talk it up and talk about the importance of, hey, look at, although 9 months from now or 12 months from now, you're going to be going to what we call an externship portion of your program, which is where you're getting out there and you're getting the skills and the experience live, hands-on, and you're getting that feedback from an actual employer. We have to start planting that seed from the beginning. And I think a lot of schools, they miss that part. So then that once they get into the classes, here at my campus, I have them do what we call an onboarding for every new student. And with that onboarding, we then again talk about the externship that look at, get ready now, because when you get to this part of your program, you're going to be out there, because during this time, while you're at the school, you're going to be doing a lot of didactic, more hands-on, you're going to be doing assimilations. But then during this part, where you're going to need to make sure you have childcare, that you have to make sure you have transportation all set up, that you have to need to make sure that, you know, you might be driving somewheres, and that is going to be time that you're making valuable for you, because you really want to treat it like it's a job interview when you get out there, because most of our externs hire our externs. So our extern sites hire our externs. So one, we start from admissions, we explain the importance of it, and we explain it throughout the whole program. So every month at the beginning of the new mod, we talk about extern. Again, don't forget you have extern coming up. When you get to extern, you want to make sure that you're on your best behavior, you look your best, you're going out there and showing your skills. We're starting to teach more soft skills while they're in school too, because a lot of our employers gave us feedback that they don't have those soft skills. And then once that they get through it, then we get them out there. But the other part of it that we do is my career service director. She's out there building and finding extern sites that are hiring. Because a lot of times what I've noticed over the last 30 years is that if we start just sticking with the same extern sites and they're just bringing our people in and pushing them out, bringing them in and pushing them out, that doesn't really help us. It doesn't help us with the sizzle of our program. And so we have a tendency to let that happen. Then it kind of brings down the extern. But really what you want to do is you want to make sure that you're building sites that are hiring, and that when they are hiring, we make a big deal about it at the campus. Like, oh gosh, Abdi just got hired at his extern site. He did so well and they loved him and they offered him a job, and he's now actually a full-time employee there. Because if you let the employer or the extern site just use your person as an extern site, that they're bringing people in and out, in and out, in and out, they're getting all this free service. And so we have to make sure that we're coaching and training our sites, but we're also coaching and training and setting up the expectation with our students. So it's a very important part of the program. And it also is important for the employer, and it's an important part for the student.
Okay, thank you very much. And you know, in reality, every program can have internship.
It really could.
You know, traditionally, it was only the medical programs that they came, you know, with internship or externship. And then cosmetology has some, you know, component that they have clinics that they, you know, have for the students to gain expertise and providing services to the community. But in reality, every single program, doesn't matter your vocational or undergraduate, graduate programs, you can have internship to be added, give that valuable experience to the graduates in getting them ready for the market. Thank you for sharing that. And
I agree with you. Yeah. You know, I've seen more and more employers do working interviews that last more than a day. So it's kind of similar to an extern. So I agree with you. I think it's a good thing.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think personally, a lot of positive effect from it. And I know talking to a lot of other individuals have had the same feeling but it is important to have the structure of the internship, as you mentioned, done very clearly. So student know what is expected of them, and the staff and the site that you're externing, there's a partnership, there's a monitoring going on, and a loop on feedback that, you know, shows the satisfaction of the site, satisfaction of the students and faculty about the process and how we can make improvement, you know, on a continuous basis. So
yeah,
one other questions, you know, that I wanted to ask you, and you've been very kind with your experience and what you shared with us. I really appreciate this. What do you see as some of the challenges and opportunities in our industry And if
Yeah.
you could share us maybe a couple of opportunities and a couple of challenges, I would greatly appreciate.
Sure. I think right now, when I look at some of the biggest challenges in the industry is um, one, it's the human part of it. It's finding the right passionate employees. I have a couple programs that I could grow more right now, but it's finding the right employees to come in and train or be the teacher or so on. So I think that's going to be any company's biggest holdback or struggle is finding the right employees to get in, finding them that are qualified. For some of our programs, they have to, if it's cosmetology, they have to have a cosmetologist license and a teaching certification, right? And both of those together sometimes are really difficult to find, especially when you're in a more of a rural area or a smaller area. So that's been probably one of my biggest challenges. The other is, which I have solutions for that too, by the way. I always believe in trying to have an ABC solution, 2 or 3 solutions for every problem. The other one is, and it's interesting in the last, when I think back to the last, maybe since 2005, this hasn't necessarily been the issue, and since COVID, it has been. This has really been an issue with COVID is retention. And retention is a culture. It's the culture at the campus. It's making sure that the students are here, right? And so you're over-sitting and under-attriting. That's the big key. Those two things are making you healthy, right? Because you want to build population. And so one of the things I've recently done is I've tried to implement a culture change at the campus with the mindset. I came here at this particular location in October, late October, and this campus is a beautiful campus. It's doing really, really well, but the retention kind of just seems to be a little bit off. But since COVID, because a lot of students wanted to stay at home and they didn't want to come to an actual live class, so you got to face all those things. So I also kind of picked up on it with employees too. It's like, no, you don't get to work from home anymore. You got to come here, right? And so we have what we call a attendance matters. So attendance matters is what I put into play, and it's a mindset, it's a culture changer, and it's things such as we do something every Thursday for our students. If it's popcorn to let them know how important attendance is, pop on into class so that you can learn more. It's fresh fruit because we love giving you a fresh perspective of the day. So we try to be creative and fun with it. So we do things like that. You see attendance matters posters all throughout the campus. We came up with the pantry. We came up with, because we have a pantry at the campus, because so many people are struggling right now for money for either gas or food. So we're like, well, we can do $20 gift cards for carpoolers, but then we can also do the pantry. So students can take food for breakfast, lunch, or dinner. They can take it home to their family, whatever they need to do. It's things, even in the bathrooms behind the stalls, we have signs up that say, you've got to be here, you got to learn. We change them every other day and so on. We give attendance perfect certificates out. We give out great GPA certificates consistently. We give out good attitude. Those are the 3 things most employers look for too. But it's really, you've got to get the whole campus buy-in. So we've changed it, and now we're able to get our retention under control. So that's just something I've noticed since COVID has really gotten kind of hot, is retention, and then finding the right people. Because so many people right now just want to work from home, work on a computer and stuff, and or make sure that they have the right qualifications for it. So if I had to say any 2 things, those are the 2 biggest. I feel that there's a paradigm shift going on in the world right now too, or in the United States, and the fact that people really want to do a lot more online, but also more people don't necessarily want to work. It's kind of interesting to me because I don't have that mentality. So you just got to kind of work around it and find those real passionate people because they're out there. So don't give up, just keep going. And everywhere I go, I'm always looking for somebody. Either is this person I'm meeting, is this a great person to come to work for me? Or is this a great person that needs to come in and go to school so that they can get a better career? So I'm always looking for things like that, always trying to figure out solutions. In fact, I'm excited because we're getting ready to grow some of our programs. We're adding some new programs and we'll possibly be expanding maybe soon. So I can't give too much information out on that. So I'm excited though.
Wonderful, wonderful. I want to tell you how much I appreciate your participation and sharing your story and your insight about education. So if there is any last word you want to share with our audience, please, this is the right time.
Oh, thank you so much, Abdi. I appreciate you having me on. I'm so impressed with you. Known you for from afar for many, many years. I'm thankful we get to finally talk, and we get to talk about something that I love and I'm passionate about. And I think the biggest thing right now in life is just know that there's always something to be thankful for, and bring that positive attitude. Come in every day with a great idea, great happiness. Listen to music if that's what gets you excited in the morning, so that when you walk in, you bring some sunshine to wherever you're going. But life is a challenge. Life is beautiful and it's very rewarding. And then we get to help students every single day. So how great is that?
You can't beat that. Thank you
Exactly.
so much. It has been a pleasure, and I wish you a wonderful day. And again, and I hope you can be our guest in another episode of Education
Oh,
Better.
thanks, Abdi. I hope I didn't bore y'all.
Oh, it was delightful. I enjoyed it.
Thank you, Abdi. I appreciate you.